that conversation because I felt like there are so many angles to explore in this particular story. All right, so we're going to do this till about 1:30, and within the 1:30 till 2 o'clock hour, half hour, we'll be looking at water prompts, all right? And we'll be talking about how water can help for weight control, all right? So a lot of people are drinking a lot of water these days, or should I say people are drinking a lot of water these days. But sometimes we just drink because we want to quench thirst. But there are other things that we can actually use water for. All right, we're talking about one of them today, which is weight control. Okay, and then at 1:55, I have a recorded program. And afterwards, at 2 o'clock, the news updates will take center stage. And after the news update, we will be talking about wishes versus gifts. So I would like to get your view on receiving wishes versus receiving gifts, especially on a special occasion. Could be your birthday, could be your wedding anniversary, could be your wedding day, stuff like that. But usually it's usually birthdays, all right? So we'll just be having that conversation about the difference between getting wishes and gifts on a special days, and appreciating the two different, what do I call it now? Ways in which people celebrate us. All right, but that's for the 2 o'clock hour. That's the last conversation for today. All right, so hey, get on Facebook. We're live there, so get on Facebook, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH, and be a part of the conversation we're having right now. The conversation for now is death penalty for drug traffickers. Okay, and then get on X. You can tweet at Nigeria Info PH. We're also on Instagram, so please join us on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM _PH. All right, welcome aboard once again. And if you're sending messages via WhatsApp, please do so. Send them to 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. So it's the 10th of May 2024, a very special day for me, and that's because someone special to me is celebrating her birthday, is marking her birthday today, my mama. Okay, so today is her birthday. Every 10th of May, everybody in the house, we go, it's mommy's birthday. I remember growing up, I actually didn't know her birthday until we actually grew up, because she wasn't really, even if she had programs that she did on her birthday, I didn't really take note of it as a birthday kind of event, because the woman was always having one event or the other. So I'm just used to, events hosted by my mom. So happy birthday to her. I've wished her a happy birthday. So that was actually part of the things that, gave me, more like pushed me further to have the conversation or to want to have the conversation on wishes versus gifts. All right, I've had that in mind for a while now, but when that time comes, we'll talk about it. Okay, so moving on now, the Nigerian Senate has approved the death sentence as a penalty for drug traffickers in the country. Of course, that bill has passed through the third reading. The bill is the 2024 NDLEA Act Amendment Bill. So you know what that means. Anyway, during the plenary, they had some kind of back and forth. What's his name now? Adams Oshomole was kind of like trying to call their attention to it. Like, hey guys, hey, take it easy. Can we just take some time out and really think about this? Are you guys sure about this? But, the Senate president was not having it. Says, hey, time up. It's not time for all of this. I oppose. It's time to make a move. And so, at the end of the day, it's passed third reading. So this particular report, the way I see it, is a classic Sunnyside conversation, And this is because, as I said earlier, there are so many angles to explore in this particular story. So we can be looking at it from the philosophical point of view, the ethical point of view, the social, the religious point of view. If you want to go political, that's your business as well. All right. So there are so many angles we can take this particular conversation. But I've got some basic questions I would like us to answer in the course of this conversation. And these questions are, number one, Why should drug traffickers get the death penalty? Why? Now, I'm putting out a why should, right? So that you will not give me a yes or no answer, just like that. So if you feel like, yes, they should get the death penalty, I want you to give me your reasons. Why? Why should they get the death penalty? And if you feel like, no, they shouldn't, you can also oppose to that, right? So why should they get the death penalty? You can go, I don't even think they should get the death penalty in the first place. And this is why, or these are the reasons why. All right, second of all, does the fear or threat of death deter people from committing crimes? You know, I've even heard stories growing up, of course, especially in movies. That's where you see those kind of stuff where they say, oh, that is the evil forest. If you go to that forest, something will happen to you. You don't go and pick things from that forest. All the blah, the blah, the blah, the blah. And people in that community, they respect themselves because nobody wants to run mad. Nobody wants to die. And so nobody goes to that forest when it is within a community. But if you look well, there are some people who still enter there and go and collect something and nothing happens to them. Or sometimes they might, say that something happened to somebody. Reminds me of a particular story last year or so where a lady was accused of going to pick snails or so from a supposed sacred forest. And some people took it upon themselves to play their god and beat her up, stripped her naked and all that. But hey, the fear of death or the threat of death, does it deter people from committing crimes? We live in a society where jungle justice is it's almost like a norm. Very much condemned, very much spoken against, but yes, it does still happen. So the fear that if they catch me, they feel putaya, keep person. Does it stop people from going to commit crimes? All right, and the last question here: should a person pay with their life for a crime that did not directly result in another person's death? Should a person either be made to pay with their life or actually pay with their life on their own for a crime that did not directly lead to the death of another person? So those are the basic questions, and I would like to hear from you. The phone lines are open. Let's talk. The numbers to call are 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0002, and 0817 923 0007, 0817 923 0007. All right, I'm taking messages. I told you earlier, send them via WhatsApp to 0809 030 6416. All right, we have Moses. Oh, hi, Moses from Rumibo. Welcome, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. We're listening.
I disagree with that sentence. I disagree with it. Because, look, there's supposed to be those people that are losing Nigerian money. I want them to put that death sentence on them. Those people that they drop. I don't want to stop trafficking. I don't know what it. But if you look at this now, just you made the trafficking maybe 20 years in prison, or not a death sentence.
Okay, so the other questions I asked, do you have an answer? Do you want to respond to them?
Somebody should not pay any crime for life, for taking somebody's life, which is so good to me.
All right, Moses, thank you very much for calling. Chigozie is the next person from Rupoko. Welcome aboard. We're listening.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Go on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're saying the first question was, why should they be penalized by the death penalty for drug traffickers? Well, I'm saying they don't deserve a death penalty.
Why so?
Yes, because just like you said, because it doesn't directly affect anyone or lead to the death of anyone. And besides, there are other crimes that this death penalty should focus on more. I don't know if you understand. Just like the kidnappers, those that threaten others with life or take others' life. So those are, I don't think they've made much effort to push those death penalties to those aspects. Because this drug trafficking now, just like the second question, ask if the threat of death stops anyone from committing a crime. Actually, I would say it doesn't. It does, and in the other part, it doesn't as well. I'll say it doesn't as well, because everybody knows what it takes when you do those things, and what I call a crime might not be a crime for another person.
Really? If something is a crime,
Yeah.
is it subject to personal beliefs?
Yeah, I might say, because someone might use it as an avenue to make money.
So ritual killing.
well.
So let's say
Maybe
someone
it-
whose avenue for making money is ritual killing. I mean, that's the way I make money.
Yeah, in some part of the world, it might not be like, it might be a crime, but it might not actually be a crime, because there are a lot of people still going into it because they believe that they will make it out.
When you say
Anything, they
some
have their
parts of
way
the
in
world,
and
do you
out.
have an example of this part of the world where killing another person or taking another person's life for wealth or whatever gains is acceptable?
No. I'm focused on drug trafficking. I'm not talking about killing of anybody's life.
Okay, I was giving an
Okay.
example of ritual killings anyway.
Yes,
All right.
yes. But firstly, I said the death penalty, they don't deserve a death penalty. It's not a crime that deserves a death penalty. There are other crimes that I know that this one deserves a death penalty, and they are never making a previous to those ones to know how they can be able to
Okay.
use the death penalty to scare people away.
All right, Chigozie, thank you. Nathaniel from Bonny, please go on.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Go on.
Yes. Corruption in the high places, like what the politicians used to do, invest the whole money that is supposed to be used for better the lives of the people. Nobody thinks anything in that direction. That those ones show picture. I'm not saying that those who traffic drugs are not committing crime. But I think if you begin to compare the level of criminality of that drug aspect to embezzling the whole money for the state, either for the local government or for the country, I think that one is like a drop of water in an. So
Do you have an idea of how much of a big deal drug trafficking is? Usually when, I don't know if you know, but usually when people hear drug trafficking, they're thinking about the person who is selling maybe one wrap of marijuana on their streets.
It's a big business. It's an international business, and it has cartel.
Yes, and you know that within the circle of drug trafficking, there is human trafficking as well.
Yes, I know very well. And for me too, I know too that there are some countries that actually register drugs. I mean, those who make it not criminal. That's the way you go about it, and it doesn't become criminal again. In some countries, they actually register it. I'm not saying that drug stuff to continue in Nigeria. It should not be a crime. But what I'm saying is that if we should kill these ones, it means that those who embezzle the whole money that is spent for this country should be killed. We also have courts who will run the whole community rampage and kill young people. Those ones should be killed. We also have armed robbers and kidnappers. These ones also should be killed. So if you kill somebody who trades in drugs and possibly use that to maybe kidnap others too, and kill people through drugs, it should also kill people who actually kill people directly too, those who engage in cultism, armed robbers, and especially corruption from politicians. Kill these ones too.
All right. Thank you, Nathaniel. Hello, Mr. Zion. Please go on.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Death sentence is not a threat and can never deter people from committing crime. In fact, nations that use life qualified, they are incompetent Other nations are thinking of filling their prisons, asking people come and use our prison and be paying us. We are putting on death sentence. The reason they are doing it is because of their children. Don't come and sell drugs to our children, but them to advise their children. Any law they like, put it. Drug smugglers will still do it. And their children will always be the victims. We all have the statistics. Man is deviant by nature. There was a time after the Civil War, to be precise, they were executing criminals televised publicly. Tomorrow we are executing them. Come and watch. Did it stop anybody from committing crime up to today? The way they televised it that time, nobody should be committing crime today. Nobody. But look at the kind of crime. To tell you that the leaders or the people who are subjecting this kind of law, they themselves are the ones that deserve it. Do you know if they have provided education for these people, provided the 5 basic amenities as we were taught back in elementary school, nobody will commit crime?
Really?
This kind of crime that we'll be talking about, death sentence. Constance,
Yeah.
let me be honest to you. Nobody can fight crime, but you can ameliorate crime or not even start it. All these guys committing crime today, let's check them carefully. Were they not given birth by a father or a mother? What was the economical status of their parents? Were they given basic amenities? Were the children sufficient? And the only thing a lawmaker can talk or decide, let us law so that on expenses. Should I put the law on nothing in this state? If you can't kidnap or whatever, destroy your building and everything, did you stop anybody? These people don't think. They need the reason, the way young of this millennium. Even what is the way they think now? How can we build schools and give them free education? How can we put the law? If you're supposed to be in school and we see you on the road, we will arrest you. But how can they build a factory for you to be the factory working for us to export these goods? You on the street working. And these are the laws we should put. And not the lazy law that we will not give the lawmakers the more.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, Mr. Zion. Who is up next? Christian from Bonny. Hi, Christian.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Go on.
Yes. I think if we look at the magnitude of damage drug is doing to the world entirely, in society today, it's not a bad idea at all. You see, I can tell you that over 80% of most of the people that commit crime in our country, in the world today, they are under drug influence. They are under the influence of drugs. Even most of the ills of our society today, like those people who go extra lengths, carry guns to disrupt elections, human trafficking, all those things we are talking about, they are all under influence of drugs. I am telling you the truth. Even some of our top politicians, some of them are into these things. That's why they don't have human pity. Drug is destroying the world. It's destroying so many things in our world today. And I think if there's anything we can do to curb the excess of it, at least put some threat limits to it, it should not be a bad idea at all. It's a good idea. It's good. Drug has destroyed the world. Most of the atrocities, limits, they don't do it out of their own minds. They are under the influence of something. Most of those boys, you see this scripture, they apprehended box containing, voters, what do you call it? Yes.
Ballot box.
Of these boys. They are the ones, they are under the influence of drugs. These boys they use for elections to push them to go and kill one of them. They are. Even in my society here, you see them, most of the bad boys who do terrible things into drugs. So what are you telling me?
Thank you for calling, Christian. Hello, Matthew from One. Are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you
so much. I
I want to first of all commend Mr. Zion. He has spoken very well. There is no way that death sentence will be the best way. Death sentence will not be the best way. You can't kill an idea with a bullet. You can't kill an idea with a bullet. You can only change an idea with another better idea. So,
what if you kill the person who brought up who's who's hatching the idea?
When somebody grew up with in a particular environment, like me now, I'm a pastor for the Assemblies of God Nigeria. I grew up in an environment that a particular idea was running, cultism was running. I find myself in cultism. Are you getting what I'm saying? But now I'm a pastor. Are you getting what I'm saying? I received a better idea that changed the first idea. So, death sentence is not the best way out. I believe the government should put a better yardstick that will help to put things straight, that will help people to put things straight. So, because if government will bring a body that can bring other innovation that will bring people out of drugs and other things that are harmful to society, I believe that it will do us well. I believe it will do us well. So the best way is to change the idea with a better idea. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Okay, so having listened to the different opinions, right? So I just want to bring this to your notice. It was something that was stated by the officer in charge of drug demand and reduction of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. That's the NDLEA in Ebonyi State. His name is Godwin Erepa. So earlier this year, around March, he said something. He said no fewer than 2.5 million Nigerians lose their lives annually, that is every year, from issues related to drug abuse. That was what he said, right? So he said that Nigeria also recorded 14.4 million drug addiction every year. And then he mentioned Ebonyi State as among the few states in the country without a single center where drug addicts can be rehabilitated. Now, when this particular one, crystal meth, aka Burumiri, was all over the place, we had conversations on air about it. People were talking about it, trying to educate, sensitize younger people not to get involved with these drugs. Don't abuse them. Don't even touch them because you might die. So when we're talking about drug trafficking, it's beyond getting high. So in as much as it doesn't look as if the drug trafficking has a direct link to people's deaths, but by the time you really get into, even if you're not a drug trafficker, even if you don't work with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, you watch film now, watch movies, both the Nigerian movies and the Hollywood movies. You watch them and you see some of those things that they put out there those are avenues for us to get to find out what really happens in that world, in that business of drug trafficking. It's beyond the drugs. As of 2020 and 2021, they say that drug-related deaths through misuse reported in the UK was about over 4,000. That was in 2021. There were so many other countries where they mentioned the use of drugs and all of that. Afghanistan, Colombia, and so many other places. Now, all over the world, Nigeria is not the only country where the death penalty is accepted. All right, there are so many other places, especially the Islamic states. It's like a norm. Usually when I hear that a Nigerian was caught for a drug-related offense in one of these Islamic countries, I'm like, this is a norm. Everybody knows that these guys, they're not smiling. If the law catches up with you, you're gonna go in for it, and you're not just going to get jailed. They will kill you. But surprisingly, people still carry drugs to those same countries. Now, usually Nigerians would say, oh, politicians, they are the ones who are doing, they don't used to bring laws that will stop the ones they are doing. But come on, I mean, some people are also accusing politicians of being drug traffickers. Am I supposed to name names? There's a particular person that a lot of people are pointing their fingers at, saying he's a drug lord. And so if they're saying death penalty for drug traffickers, who are the traffickers? Are we talking about the bosses, or are we referring to the foot soldiers? Are we referring to the people who are selling in smaller quantities? Or are we referring to the Oga that is giving the marching order? Death penalty for drug trafficking. So back to the questions I asked you. Think about it. Does the fear or threat of death deter people from committing crimes? Mr. Zion said that in those days, people were executed and every other person was asked to watch, come and see. So that when you see that other people are unalived like this, you will not do the same thing, but it has not stopped it. But I believe that there are people who would ordinarily not be a part of a crime. The moment they find out that the punishment for this crime is your life, no two ways about it, it would deter them. That's what I believe. But what do you think? What do you believe? And also, why should drug traffickers get the death penalty? I mean, I would also like you to talk from perhaps a religious standpoint as well, right? Because there are people who would rather, can we talk about changing their lives? It's better than taking their lives. All right, politicians here in Nigeria are kind of jobless. Let their looting also get death penalty, not just drugs. What's your name? You didn't tell me your name. Ernest from OG says, I love my country. We are not serious. In China, if them born you where? Carry drugs inside China. Look at what drugs is doing to our youth. People are sleepwalking in the roads. People that are against this law, I don't know if they don't go to rural community and see what boys and girls are doing. Good afternoon, Constance. If the National Assembly is to pass a death sentence on drug traffickers, then what will be the punishment for kidnappers? Henry from your warfare in Port Harcourt. There are also states in Nigeria where the law there is, what's it called? In addition to, I think it's death penalty for kidnappers. And in addition to that, any building, any property that belongs to such a person or such a group, the government will demolish them. In addition to that. But then, should a person pay with their life for a crime that did not directly result in another person's death? All right, still taking your calls. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0002, and 0817-923-0007. For me, the only people that deserve death penalty are murderers and pedophiles. Anything below that should carry a lengthy sentence. There should be a second chance in life, or a second chance at life for them. But you see, murderers and pedophiles, they should collect death sentence in their next life as well. Drugs trafficking is not enough for a death sentence. My opinion, though. All right, Dave, that's your message. Who else do I have here? Ooh, this is long. Wow. What's your name? Ikbante Moses. Is this for me? This is actually from you. Okay, Moses, I'm going to come back to your message later. It is quite long. All right, please do well to call back. So let's look at maybe one or two messages on Facebook and then we get ready for the news. Okay, McDolly Liberty on Facebook says, death penalty is sentimental and out of jealousy. Really? For the government? Is it for or from the government? Because they are also into crime by stealing Federation funds. McDolly Liberty. What exactly are you saying? So my question is very clear, all right? I would like you to bring your arguments, please. Do. And when you're typing, because you're typing, I know that thing. Now, when you're typing, you're too fast. You might not really look at the words, but please look at it again, okay? So that I'll be sure of what I'm reading. Why should drug traffickers get the death penalty? If you are against that, help me understand why they should not. And if you agree that they should get the death penalty as the Senate has chosen to do, please explain to us why you also think they should get the death penalty. All right, I'm taking messages, so send them. I can't take any calls right now. After the news, I'll take your calls, but for now, send me that message via WhatsApp to 0809 030 6416. We're also live on Facebook, so let's hear from you there. Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Okay, good afternoon, Constance. Why drug traffickers should get the death penalty is that drug traffickers are a threat to national security. The use of hard drugs can trigger citizens into getting into crimes and exhibiting violent behaviors. Imagine a society savaged with drug addicts. Crime definitely will be on the increase. In some cases, terrorists can take advantage of drug trafficking to execute their mindless acts. So the death penalty, in my opinion, can reduce drug trafficking if implemented, not just passing it into law. In Nigeria, we have laws, but less empowered institutions to execute those laws. Emmy from Port Harcourt. All right, that's for you. Thanks for your message. Who's here now? Constance, I don't agree with the Senate. In my opinion, drug traffickers should have their... Buratina from OG. I nearly read that thing. Dude. Okay, the news comes up now. After the news, I'll be right back. Do stay tuned.
Is Trending Stories on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome again. I am Constance Mega with the trends. River State is trending. Well, it comes as some Rivers people on social media are calling on Governor Siminalayi Fubara to ensure that the welfare of the people remain paramount amidst the political crisis in the state. Well, some others are wondering if the River State House of Assembly quarters will be demolished following the governor's visit yesterday. NDLEA Act is trending as well, and this comes after the Senate approved death sentence for drug offenders within the country as part of the NDLEA Amendment Act. Well, the new law states a 15-year imprisonment for drug users and death sentence for producers, suppliers of drugs. Meghan is trending. Well, this comes as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan, arrived in Nigeria for a 3-day visit. Well, during the visit, Prince Harry will promote the Invictus Games, an initiative he founded to support the rehabilitation of wounded and sick service members and veterans, including Nigerian soldiers engaged in a 14-year conflict against Islamic extremists. Ibrahim Babangida is also trending, and it comes as the president of the Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria, Tijani Babangida, was on Thursday involved in a car accident. His younger brother and 1993 FIFA Under-17 World Cup winning player Ibrahim Babangida died on the spot. Former teammate Emmanuel Babayaro, the General Secretary PFAN, announced the incident in a statement. Kora is trending as well. This comes as Nigerian-American dancer and singer Kora Obidi started a GoFundMe campaign for support with legal fees after her husband obtained image rights protection from Meta to stop her from featuring their children on Facebook. An ex-user noted that Obidi has raised close to $50,000 via the GoFundMe. And finally, Bobo Ajudua is trending. Well, this comes as Nigerian singer David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, reportedly fired his longtime lawyer and friend Bobo Ajudwa, aka Prince. Well, some ex-users are rejoicing because they believe the action is overdue, as the saying that Davido is fighting hate within his camp. All right, well, that's it on Trending Stories. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Constance Mega. Thank you for listening.